Crispin Core's command buttons are easily accessible via our right pane here, where you have a series of different tools, and they can provide a lot of different functionality for your schedule. First, the way I like to think of these as your unscheduled event actions. As you know, in an automation playlist, it's generally exactly that. It's normally scheduled events that you need to have done or executed, right? But what about those things that come up on the fly that you weren't planning for necessarily? It could be things like maybe an EAS that you have to relay, maybe a trouble slide, or some sort of other graphic you might need to throw in. Or it could be also something like a breaking news or breaking network sort of event that you might need to go to. Sometimes those take more than one action to even achieve it. And all of that can be done with our command button panel. So just a few examples that I have here, as I was describing, are down below. I'm kind of bouncing around on these a little bit, but notice in the very bottom I have what we call our all channel break-in. And this is an example of that one I had just mentioned before, where with a single click, I can tell all four of these playlists that I have to go in what we call offline mode, which, if you're not familiar, that means that we're going to keep executing the schedule, but we're going to actually disable our control of your switcher, allowing you to then take your switcher to the correct source that you need while automation does its thing in the background. Think again, breaking news or breaking network. But making this even more powerful, we can have a macro of commands so that not only are we taking these offline, but with that single click, we can also go to a pre-programmed router or switcher source. So in the case of breaking news, with a single click, these will all go offline, and I will take you right to your production control source. So I'm going to start that now. Now, obviously, you don't see my switcher in the background, but what you can see is that each of my channels has now toggled to offline mode, which is indicated by the red online offline status. So now picture that you're in a breaking news event in production control room. Again, my events are continuing to execute as they need to. That way I can immediately go right back where it needs to when I'm done. Let's say that's finishing up now, for example. And when I do, I can simply do another single click to have this return. So as I do that, not only is it putting each channel online, but you may notice that it's requeuing each of these events. And that's because you may have advanced to a new event in your schedule. It could be a totally different source than what it took you on before. So this will actually preset and take your switcher to the correct source that it should now be on air when you're using it. That's an example that we commonly see used for our command buttons, but there's definitely more as well. I've mentioned to you already how we could, do single commands like firing a GPI closure for weekly tests or bugs or crawls or things like that. But another really powerful tool that we see used is our gang roll. Now, gang roll, not a new concept in itself. It's rolling two or more channels together at once. But what makes this one even more powerful is this is a dynamic gang roll. What I mean by that is I can arm this however I need to, so that it will, arm just and roll whichever of these channels I have selected. So let's say, for example, at this point, I'm going to be airing the same thing on my channel 3 and 4. So I now have those two armed. And whenever I roll this, it'll only roll both of those two together and leave my other ones out of it. Let's say now at a different time of day, I want all three of these to roll together, but not my first one. Now when I click, all three of them are going to roll. Just an example there again too. And of course I could do, alternating different ones, whatever my scenario may be. And keep in mind too, it will remember what I've selected, so I don't have to go in here and arm them each time like you're seeing me do. I'm just showing you examples of how those might be. So for example, here now my first and my last channel, I'm sorry, I should say the first one I had selected, which was my second channel, and my fourth channel have now all aired together. Those are just a few examples of what our command buttons can do. Also, another quick thing to note about them, however, is that we've made them extremely easy to set up for our customers as well. So, we've had some sort of functionality like a lot of others have had in the past as well too, but it often takes a call to support to get a little bit of assistance in getting it set up. When we added this to our Crispin core, we revamped the whole configuration process as well to make it extremely easy. It's just about as easy as naming a button and then adding what type of commands you want to it. You can even clone existing buttons that you have to make it that much more easy.